Okay, boys and girls, this is my first tutorial video for the Akai MPK Mini Facebook group. So if you go to Facebook and then you do a search for Akai MPK Mini, then you'll see this device. You'll see a picture of this device. Everybody wants to know how to go from this box. Let's see if I can zoom out just a little bit. How you go from this box and hold on, has this title, Akai MPK Mini Laptop Production Keyboard, to being able to do this. Touch sensitive keys, to being able to doing that. To understand what the Akai MPK Mini does, you have to have a basic understanding of MIDI, and MIDI is just a language that musical instruments use to talk to each other. MIDI is very important when it comes to sequencing and syncing up instruments with computers, because without MIDI there is no start-stop signal. There is no note signal. There is no communication without MIDI. Okay, so basically what the Akai MPK Mini is a MIDI controller. It's a very basic controller. And so what I'm opening up here is Cubase. And one thing that I want you guys to really get and understand is that Cubase is merely a digital audio workstation. It's a DAW, and all DAWs are the same. Whether you're working with Cubase or Sonar, Producer Edition, Sonar, Cakewalk, Fruity Loops, Pro Tools, all of these DAWs are the same. It's basically like having a sword, and what type of sword you want to have. They are different types of swords. If you want to have a gun, what type of gun you want to use, you know what I'm saying? So basically it's not really the DAW that you use, but it's what you do with it. Okay, so that's basically everything. Okay, so now that I have my DAW set up, I want to show you guys some basic things that I really encourage you to take, like at least like a basic course of DAWs. Most of your local major studios might offer that, a course to show you the basics of how to load a track, how to arm a track. So it doesn't matter whether you using Logic, GarageBand, Mac. All of this these are basic principles that you need if you're going to be recording and sequencing music. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to File here on Cubase, and I'm sorry, no, I'm not going to go to File. I'm going to go to Project, and I'm Add Track. You see my drop down menu, I have Audio Folder Group, MIDI. I'm going to add a MIDI channel, in which you have the option to make group channels and all different types of channels, but I'm going to add a MIDI channel. Okay, so any DAW that you use, you should be able to add a MIDI track. Okay, so here we have a MIDI track. You see the red dot here that shows me that this track is ready to record and that it's armed. Okay, so on the left side of the screen here, you have a basic controller for that MIDI track, and it shows where your MIDI is going to be coming in and where the MIDI will go out to for this particular track. Okay, so what I'm going to do is tell this that my MPK Mini, which on Windows XP, the USB audio device is the MPK Mini. On the Mac, I'm told that it shows up as MPK Mini, Akai MPK Mini. So the driver for this shows up as a USB audio device. The output we're going to say is going to be the Korg wave station. So once I open my VST, which is what the Korg wave station is, a VST, you can see here that I have the program with the instrument that I want to play. So if I hit a key on the MPK, which here it shows that the MIDI signal going in is from the MPK and the MIDI signal going out is to the Korg wave station. Okay, so when I open the wave station, I should be able to hit a key and get a sound. If I change instruments, I should be able to hear the sound. Okay, now that's a basic MIDI tutorial. Okay, now I must take that a step further. Okay, so now if you have an idea of basically what MIDI does from the MPK and how to set up a MIDI track and open up a VST. You can't just plug an MPK in and start playing. It takes a little bit of tweaking, a little bit of editing. So the next program I'm going to open up, I'm going to open it as a standalone. Basically, this program is called Kontakt. It's made by, who is it made by? It's made by Native Instruments, and basically what this is it's an MPC. I don't want to call it an MPC. It's like the MPC, but it has a lot more. It's got a lot more options. Okay, so basically what I'm going to do is open up some of my samples from my own sample library. So basically I have sounds, kicks, snares, hi-hats, horns, pianos inside of my hard drive. And so what Kontakt is about to do is take those sounds from inside of my computer and allow me to be able to control them with my MPK. So usually I'm going to go inside the setup. Let me show you what I'm doing. Usually with standalone VSTs and even VSTs that you open inside of your program, your DAW, you should be able to go into this setup menu. And this is really important. When you go to the MIDI options, you have to set the MPK up as the controller. And basically I already have that set up, USB audio device. If you don't set the MPK up as the controller, you're not going to get any sounds. Okay? That's basically the gist of it. Now this standalone program here will work by itself, and I could play it out, play it live on stage. I could play it into my DAW. I could play it out of my laptop into another recorder, however I want to do that. So anyways, this is not really a Kontakt tutorial, but I'm going to give you a little something. On the bottom here, I'm going to click auto, so that'll allow me to audition my sounds as I click them. We got a clap. Let's use this old school 808 clap. Once I double click on that, I get the clap as an instrument here. I'm going to click edit, and I'm going to click mapping editor. All DAWs have a mapping editor. Some of them call it a keyboard. Some of them call it a piano roll. Here we have the clap. It's being controlled by the MPK Mini. And so what I've done is I haven't set up what you call a root note. So this sample, this clap sample, is laid across all the keys on the MPK. So any key that I hit, and you have to remember that the MPK Mini is also touch sensitive, so if you hit it softly, it's going to play softly. It's laid across all the keys, so if I play a high note, it's going to be high, but if I play a low note, it's going to play low. Okay, so what Kontakt does is really awesome. I don't know if you can see that, but when I hit a note, it shows me the volume and also the location of the note. Alright, so that's not really complicated. I'm going to show you another little trick. Once you set up, which I'm going to delete this instrument. Once you set up a Hold on, let me delete this. Once you set up an instrument, and so now I'm gonna new instrument. Once you set up an instrument, I keep saying that over and over. Once you set up an instrument, if you're just a plug and play type person and you don't want to go inside of the MPK and tweak every note and tweak every pad and every knob, what you can do is hit a note on the MPK. And once you hit the note, you get the signal of where that note is. And one easy thing to do with Kontakt is you can take that particular sample, you can drag it onto that zone and make that pad that sample. Okay, so basically what you're looking at is Sonar Producer Edition. Okay, just basically to show you guys that a DAW is the same. Here I have my MIDI track set up. Here I have my audio track set up. This MIDI track has the USB audio device in, Cyclone out. Let's open Cyclone. Cyclone has 16 pads just like the MPC. It's basically the same thing as Kontakt, a little bit more primitive. In Cyclone you have to set up your notes from the pads. Okay, so you have to have some knowledge of what note your pad is sending to Cyclone. Okay, you have to know what note these pads are sending to your VST. Okay, so once you figure that out, which I know that this is D4 and I know that pad number 1 is D4, I could send that note. Pad number 4 here is D4. I'm sorry, it's not D4. Let me check that again. It's F4. DEF, duh. It's F4. So if I know that this pad sends F4, I send F4. I assign this pad, this hi-hat, to F4. Okay? That basic setup is with every VST, every DAW. It's just worded differently, or the pictures are different, but MIDI is the same all across the board on every program. So I'm going to close that out. Each instrument has to have its own track and its own channel, or you're going to have chaos and it's going to sound like crap, I guarantee it. Where was I at? Okay, so you can see that I have a MIDI channel per track per instrument. Okay, when I click on an instrument, I should have a sound. Okay, if I click here, I know that that's my snare. If I click here, I know that that's my horn sound, because that's the way that I have this thing set up. Okay, this is the wave station. I know I'm gonna hear that sound. Okay, and so I'm not gonna show you guys how I sequence this track, but that's basically the whole tutorial. So if you can get this, if you can get from that point to this point, then you're in business. And that's my first tutorial. Holla. Please rate this video, subscribe to the Facebook Akai MPK Mini group. I try to answer as many questions as I can. If you'd like me to go in depth or make a different video to address any questions that you might have, just place it in the comments below. This is Bruh. I made this video, man, because once I got my MPK Mini, I couldn't do anything with it. Had all these conflict problems with drivers, and I just was ready to take it back to the store. But I finally figured out what it does, so I figured that I would make a video for people who would like a production center that fit inside of their laptop bag. So, you know, I'm sure some like-minded people out there that like to do production on the go. So that's why I made the video. Grab your headphones, man. Stick them in your laptop bag. You out. This is Bruh, and I'ma holla at y'all. Peace.